This recipe is really so easy. This is my recipe for Brunswick stew that was in my very first cookbook. And I had another like super 5-minute Brunswick stew recipe, but I can't find it anywhere. But I'm gonna keep searching. But this recipe calls for you to boil a chicken. Well, what makes this so easy is a roasted chicken from the grocery store. So that's gonna save us a lot of time. And I've got about 6 or 7 strips of bacon that I'm gonna dice up. And I'm gonna get it to cooking along with my onions. All right, because this is, I said the next few recipes I was gonna be working on was all about what to serve at the big game. And once you get this together, you can put it in your slow cooker and keep it hot. And men absolutely adore Brunswick stew. All right, so I think I'm gonna turn this eye on. It's a little bigger. And I've sprayed my pan because I don't want it to stick. And if you're like me and you don't cook a lot of bacon, and you need that bacon fat for many of your vegetables. So I'm gonna start just by putting a little bit of my store-bought bacon grease because I really don't want everything to stick, and bacon can stick. So I'm gonna give it a little head start. Onions. Are they in my face and I can't see? Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna put those in the pot. And I've got a lot to say about Brunswick stew and country folks. I've never lived in the country. People think I came straight out of the sticks, but I really didn't. But my relatives did. The Hyreses were just poor dirt farmers that came in from South Carolina via, I think it was Germany. I'm not sure, not real up on my family tree. But the one person that I remember making it the old-timey way was my Uncle Bernie. And Uncle Bernie was my daddy's brother, and Don, my cousin, it was his daddy. And they lived out in the country, and when we would come, he would make old-timey Brunswick stew. And to make old-timey, you take the hog head, and you remove the eyes, and then you just boil it till all the meat comes off the bone. And that's what you make Brunswick stew with. But in more modern times, I like to use like maybe a piece of a Boston butt along with chicken, do the chicken and the pork. But I don't have a Boston butt, so I'm supplementing with the bacon. And while that's cooking, got some garlic there, I'm gonna take my chicken. These just are so handy. And my dogs love them. So they get a lot of roasted chicken. But you'll just want to make sure that you remove all the skin, all the veins. I don't want to see a vein. If y'all just knew how many chickens I have picked in my lifetime. Because when I started the bag lady, I was having to cook 8 chickens a day. Which means I had to pick 8 chickens a day. And it took a long time because I was real picky about what I let go in there and what I didn't. Okay, there's one part of this leg that's got a piece of gristle on it. And I get rid of that, but the dogs like it. And to make good Brunswick stew, it's important that you use like the whole chicken. You know, you want to use white and dark meat, because your dark meat is where all the flavor comes from. All right, I want to show y'all on the chicken. This is called the oyster of the chicken, and it's in that little back pocket right there. So don't ever miss that delicious, flavorful oyster, chicken oyster. Okay, so I've got our onion and our bacon. And now I'm going to add some garlic. Yeah, I got some garlic. You can always spend a little garlic. Come on, man. Work with me. I'll do 2 scoops since much didn't come out. You know, I love cooking these kind of recipes, y'all, because it's like loosey-goosey. Do it any way you want to do it. All right, so I'm glad I sprayed that because it was trying to stick a little bit. All right, so now I'm gonna add my crushed tomatoes. And I'm gonna just rinse out my can with a little water. And I have some chicken stock over here if we need to add a little bit more juice to it. All right. And I say I'm going to go ahead and add it right now because I like it a little thicker than that. Now I'm going to add 1 cup of ketchup. And I'm just going to eyeball it. Just eyeball it. Y'all think that's close? We can always add more if we need it. I'm going to add a little teaspoon of vinegar. If I can get it open. There we go. Just a drop. I am going to add some celery flakes, or either celery seed or celery salt, whichever one you have of that. Some onion powder. And I love this product. It really adds so much to your dish. And it's especially great if whoever you're cooking for, if your family doesn't like onions, you can trick them and just use the onion powder and get the flavor of it. So about a tablespoon or 2 of Worcestershire. And I'm gonna use my son's barbecue sauce. It's their molasses barbecue sauce. And I like my Brunswick stew sweet, with a sweet taste. So I'm going to go ahead and just add everything. Y'all know I told y'all I spend half my life looking for stuff and the other half trying to get it open. So this is just determines on how much you like. That's how much I like. That much. I like a good bit of corn in my Brunswick stew and butter beans. And these frozen butter beans are so good. They flash freeze them. And it's just like they came straight out of the field, y'all. So I'm going to add those. Let's see, what am I missing? Am I missing anything? I'm not going to add my barbecue sauce yet. I'm going to turn up the heat on this. And I'm going to let that cook for 20 or so minutes. And I'll have to be careful to watch it and make sure it doesn't stick.
The about okra, do you have okra sometimes?
No, okra doesn't go in Brunswick stew. And that sounds strange. It seems like it would, but it doesn't. And I looked to see if I had a can of cream corn too, because I like to add a can of cream along with the niblets because it just thickens it and makes it a little richer. So I'm going to chop our chicken up. And, if you have time to boil a whole chicken, I do love that because you get all that wonderful stock. But I want to make this easy for y'all. So I'm kind of telling y'all shortcuts. So we don't have to put our chicken in there right now because our chicken was done for us. Okie dokie. So about 20 minutes, you want to make sure you keep it stirred. And I'm going to go ahead and add some more chicken base. And there's a good chance I'll have to add some more before it's all over. But that's why I like doing this, because you do what you want to. A little bit of this, you can express yourself. Some people love to do that. Some people like to go straight by the book. I'll swing either way. Okie doke, we're going to finish up this Brunswick stew, y'all. And just because I've had time, I just let this continue to cook, probably longer than it needed, but that's all right. So I forgot to add my potatoes. So I just put me a little pot of potatoes on to boil separate. So I'm going to add those. And some people may not even add potatoes, but you know me and a tater. Okay. So now we're going to add our barbecue sauce. And like I said, this is where our sweet's going to come from. And that should have been maybe around a half a cup. Just depending on how big a pot you're making. And then you have to decide, well, do you want this hot or do you want where everybody can eat it? I'm going to put some ground black pepper in it. I just really like fresh ground over the one you get. Now this was salt, but it ain't no more. The reason no salt was coming out was the canister had come out and it was still in the drawer. Now, that's some salt. Now it's time to taste and start homing in on your flavor that you want. I hope I've got some liquid smoke because it's pretty good. All right, now I'm going to add my chicken. And that's going to kick this up. I think we need a little bit more barbecue sauce. Just a little bit. You just have to play with it and get it where you want it. Now I'm going to get some hot sauce. Some of my hot sauce. It's not quite so hot. It's not much, but I'm just going to add all of that. This looks really good. And like I said, you just put this in your slow cooker and let everybody just eat when they're hungry. All right, I'm going to taste again. I wanted to see if I had any liquid smoke, because that really gives it, I bet I don't have any. Don't have any. I'll pick some up at the grocery store though and sprinkle it with that, because your liquid smoke will give it that charcoal flavor, like you had really, cooked it over charcoal. All right, let's see. I'm going to add one more little bit of different kind of salt. And now I'm going to add some regular pepper. And I like this served over rice. But most people just like it by the bowl, along with their baked beans and their barbecue and their coleslaw. So, having said all that, I think I'm gonna just get me a little taste while all those flavors are melting together. And I may wind up coming back and putting a little bit more seasoning in it. I'm glad I remembered the potatoes. So this is hot as your first love. Ooh. It really is good. So play with it and get it the way you like it. But before I add anything else, I'm going to go ahead and let it just simmer there and see what the flavors are going to be like 20 or 30 minutes from now. So happy game day. Guys and girls, y'all eat up. Go team. Who's playing? I don't know. Am I supposed to know? Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.